The United Kingdom is having arguably its worst time since World War II. We've got inflation, people working multiple jobs. It's bad like the US, but worse. Ukraine war is contributing, but it seems like the culture war there is even worse than here in the US. I'll put a link to the original video, but this UK YouTuber has a video of 300 commercials, and some would be funny if it wasn't so depressing. And his theory, I don't even think it's a theory. What he's saying is basically their advertisements in the UK are propaganda. Um, and it's pretty messed up.
Next ad is from the British Home Office, and very unusually for a British advertisement, this piece contains not one, but two straight white couples.
Just show me the messages. Give me the phone.
Enough. We can let victims of coercive control know that support is available.
You okay? Don't touch me, I don't want to touch.
Enough. We can help to report sexual assault.
In both interactions, the man gets aggressive with his superior half. Fortunately, Karen is there to intervene. In the bar, Nigel is posing for a selfie with Julia, still holding out hope that she might let him into her pants, seeing as she's on the rebound after getting dumped by Chris. Nigel's feeling brave. He even works up the courage to place his hand on the back of Julia's chair for their selfie. Hoping to impress Julia, Nigel decides to white knight an argument between a couple across from them by asking Karen to go do it for him. You see, in Adland, a man cannot intervene to save a woman from a white man unless he has first done battle with his
toxic masculinity.
But Karen is a woman, so she can intervene straight away. Nigel wakes up the next morning, alone and in a hungover fog. His judgment impaired, he composes a text confessing his feelings to Julia, but then has a quick glance at her Instagram, where he sees the photo they took last night with the caption, "Nigel is so sweet! What a gem, treating me to a night out. He's everything a girl deserves and more. Besties forever!" Nigel deletes his confession. He sends a few photos of the night before to Julia after he's sobered up, but she doesn't respond because she's too busy getting pounded into oblivion by Chris, who called her over to his place because he had fuck all else to do. The ad ends with the words,
Enough. We can help to report sexual assault. Enough. We can stop violence against women and girls.
Wait, say that again?
Enough. We can call out our mates for harassing women.
We don't fucking need you. No, I promised to lay off the gear. Fuck it! We know that sexual assault isn't acceptable. We don't need you bastards to tell us that in a condescending ad that tries to depict white men as the source of sexual assault in Britain, when we all know that the real fucking culprits are Muslims. It's okay. I'm better now. What I meant to say is that I am truly inspired that the government of Great Britain is finally starting a long overdue public conversation about the scourge of white men assaulting young black girls, and it was truly inspiring to see the Brown Knight putting Shrek in his place. Here's another ad that...
And by the way, guys, if you're not familiar, there's this huge controversy in the UK of gangs of a certain type of people, I can't talk about on YouTube, that are raping women, children, also boys, girls and boys, and they're basically covering it up. And they are, it's some crazy, like, I don't know what's happening. Like, people are, it's getting to a boiling point. It's super sad. There's just a lot of craziness in the UK right now.
bravely tackles the national scourge of white teenage boys assaulting young black girls. This ad from Kent County Council.
You alright? Where you going then? Oi!
Boy, where you going?
Thankfully, young English girls need not fear, for Jamal Al-Akbar Muhammad is here.
Hey, leave it out, mate. Sorry.
After Jamal heroically puts his racial inferiors in their place and saves the young English lass, Kent County Council informs us that young white boys on bicycles have publicly harassed 75% of girls in the UK. Next, we're going to look at a couple of ads from an organisation called... and I'm not kidding here. That Guy Scotland. Here is a clip that should tell you everything you need to know about That Guy Scotland.
And having an erection doesn't mean you have to put it somewhere.
Could you say that again?
Having an erection doesn't mean you have to put it somewhere.
Whoa, what a revelation. I had always assumed that if my cock went north, then I had to stick it in something. That is simply the done thing after all. I mean, you know how it is, lads. You're getting a private checkup from the nurse practitioner. Next thing, you gotta look down the girl's blouse, purely by accident, of course, and your boy Willie has a sudden growth spurt. And you know, you gotta put it somewhere. So I'm sorry, love, but hey, if it's any consolation, my last STI screening came back clean. But as it turns out,
having an erection doesn't mean you have to put it somewhere.
Alright, let's get to some That Guy Scotland ads. So in this one, the boys are sat around a pub table having a perfectly natural conversation.
Like, genuinely, I do have a few pals that are a bit problematic.
Yeah, they're guys that are blatantly following women around in the gym, staring too long. If we do nothing, we're part of that issue, we're part of the problem. And the only way I can see that changing is if we talk about it.
When you've done that, you can go home, look at yourself in the mirror and actually go, you know what, did something right.
What is it with these fucking people and their determination to make men stare at themselves in the mirror in self-loathing?
Fuck you! Fuck you! Get the fuck out of here!
That Guy Scotland have a load of ads, but we're just going to look at one more because they're all the same. Male behaviour bad, men bad, go scream at yourself in a mirror.
Ever called a girl dull?
Or whistled at her walking down the street?
Ever stared at a woman on a bus, or
said to your mate, I'd do that.
You ever give a girl a compliment? Like, nice.
Etc. Don't flirt with women. Don't express your sexual desire in them to your friend. Don't even fucking look at them.
Ever stared at a woman on a bus?
As crude as this ad is, it actually does make good use of a clever propaganda technique called smearing by association. It's very simple. A target is smeared through association with a long list of bad stuff. For example, this is Nigel. Now, Nigel says that the Netflix series Adolescence is a government psyop. Worse, Nigel is developing quite an...
If you guys haven't heard about Adolescence, the UK is going nuts about it, and the government officials are literally calling it a documentary. And if you don't know about the show, I would not advise watching it. It is similar to this advertisement. It is ridiculous.
Online following. You see, Nigel had an awakening when he realised how pathetic his life was. He was single, sexless, and miserable. So he hit the gym, he started to develop self-respect, he stopped simping after women, he deleted all his dating apps, and started approaching women in real life. Within a year, he's got a loving girlfriend, started a business, and finally has a decent mortgage on a house. He's been making videos about how the simpy nice guy act is a disastrous way to go, and it's time to man the fuck up and take her off that pedestal she has no business being on in the first place. This is Carrie. Carrie works at the New York Times. She gets a call telling her to write a piece on, quote, adolescence conspiracy theories, and to follow it up with another hit piece on Nigel. So Carrie sets to work, and within a few hours, the New York Times publishes her article. Top 10 stupidest conspiracy theories? Number 10. People never landed on the moon. Love the use of the word people instead of men, Carrie. Very nice touch. Number 9. Hitler survived the war and fled to Argentina. Number 8. Reptilian royals. To think people actually believe this nonsense. Number 7. The Netflix show Adolescence is a government psyop. What's next? Martians built Stonehenge. Number 6. Elvis is alive on Mars. The next day, Carrie publishes a follow-up article, 10 most toxic online influencers. The usual boogeymen of the cosmopolitan progressive are in there: Andrew Tate, Pearl, Jordan Peterson, and at number 6, Nigel. In the That Guy Scotland video, some genuinely bad behaviours are described. 2 in particular stand out. 1. Getting a girl hammered, tossing her in a taxi, taking her back to your place and fucking her when she's too wasted to even know what's going on. And 2. Sending a random girl a dick pic. By the way, I have a funny dick pic story. I'll tell you in a bit. So these are bad, and indeed criminal behaviours. But let's look at the other stuff on the list.
Ever stared at a woman on a bus? Or...
Okay, but what do you mean by stare? Like, am I not allowed to look at a woman now? Is staring at a woman really as bad as sending a random girl a dick pic?
You ever give a girl a compliment? Like, nice.
And Wondered why you didn't get a thank you.
Yes, I have given girl compliments and I still do. I regularly tell my wife she's a hot bitch because she is a hot bitch. And in my dating days, I gave plenty of compliments to plenty of girls, which almost always went down well. And on the rare occasion she didn't like the compliment, look doll, I may not measure up to the Chad who just left you alpha widowed, but if you can take a dick, you can take a compliment.
Mate.
Whoa, relax, man. It was just a joke.
Stop. Just stop, man.
Yes, you're right. I love Big Brother. I love That Guy Scotland. Among their most enlightening videos are Expert Talks to Podcaster about Male Sexual Entitlement and How Fans Can Make Women Feel Safer at Football. Right, the dick pic anecdote. So I'm in my first year of uni. Me and two of the boys are at the Queen's University Students' Union bar, having a few pints and playing pool. Dom heads off to take a piss and comes back a few minutes later, shaking and with a face wider than a Ring security ad antagonist. So we ask Dom what's wrong, and he tells us that he went to the toilets with the intention of sending his girlfriend Dervla a picture of his cock. Bear in mind, this was back in the day before smartphones and personalised chats. If you wanted to send someone a picture, you selected the picture, then went into your contacts and clicked on the person you wanted to send it to. Dom had accidentally sent a picture of himself grasping his erect cock and looking into the camera to the contact above Dervla in his contact list, the one labelled Da. And for those that don't know, Da is what Irish men call their father. Features a creepy looking white guy trying to sell six-pack builders, which used to be a telemarketing staple. The word false idol appears before a cut to a classic Greek sculpture taking a selfie. Here, Virgin mocks classical European ideas of male beauty. The word fake fluencer appears before Chad shows up on screen. Chad has been given a fake halo to emphasize his artificiality. He has at least 5 hideous tattoos. This next shot is 2 seconds long. It is a subliminal intended to mock Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel. Chad holds out his arm, thumb, and fingers in the exact same position as God in the creation of Adam. This is another attack by Virgin on classical European art and beauty. Chad is surrounded by creepy-looking figures dressed in white robes wearing white beauty masks. Another subliminal intended to emphasize the whiteness of these fake, fraudulent standards of beauty. The words "leave the cult" appear, and then we go into the reality section of the ad. An empowered woman opens things up. She has excellent breasts, which are emphasized by her backhand stand and low-cut shirt. The sexual image combined with the odd pose is a visual prod to increase the viewer's attention. The target's mind will be focused on the positive imagery of the reality section of the ad, and the subliminals of the cult section will fade into their subconscious. Excellent use of psychologically manipulative visuals here. Then we cut to a middle-aged white guy trying to escape the toxic white beauty cult with the help of a young black man. There's a few shots of black women looking strong and empowered, which contrasts sharply against the idiotic fake expressions of Chad and Mr. Sixpack. This ad is only a minute long, but it packs in many hidden values and subliminals, all of it disguised under a polished sheen and positive message. This is outstanding. This is what expert-level propaganda looks like. There are 5 core components of propaganda, and Virgin are doing all 5 well here. I'm going to have to go off on a bit of a tangent to explain these core components before we return to see how they are used in this Virgin ad, but this is an interesting tangent. The 5 key elements of propaganda are values, assets, props, villain, and target. Let's look at a piece of propaganda that demonstrates these elements clearly. This is a Target advertisement released a decade ago in 2015 at the beginning of the now defunct body positivity movement. The values that the ad wants to communicate are that an obese body is just as healthy and beautiful as any other body. Obesity is not a life-threatening condition. Fat is not a problem. It's just a slightly different body type, though slight certainly isn't the word I'd choose to describe this grounded blimp. The asset is, of course, the Yasquinosaurus.
Yes, yes.
A woman who, if she were to gain any more mass, would be in danger of collapsing into a singularity and consuming the entire earth. Then going to the fridge for a large slice of cake to bring a sugary conclusion to this midnight feast. And finally posting a selfie of herself on Instagram to smother her deep feeling of self-disgust with validation from strangers and fake friends who are only too happy to engage in sexual sabotage of of other women, while disguising this sabotage as empowerment. The props are the 4 good-looking girls who are all at a healthy weight. The green screen swimming pool and tropical setting can also be regarded as props. The target is women who shop at Target. The villain is so-called unrealistic beauty standards, pushed by those old, outdated advertisements featuring Victoria's Secret models who are all starving themselves to death to meet male beauty standards. Thank God things have changed, and today advertisements feature real women with real bodies. The 4 prop girls are there to make the asset look better through the hot by association technique. I go into this technique in detail in my body positivity propaganda analysis video. The job of the props in any piece of propaganda is to make the asset look as appealing as possible, visually and emotionally. In this image, the asset holds a girl boss pose, while the prop girls struggle to contain how impressed they are with her self-confidence. While the 5 main elements of propaganda are clearly defined in this piece, I actually consider this to be quite a bad work of propaganda. Target are going for hot by association, but it doesn't work because the asset is dressed too differently to the props and is simply too gargantuan. Target also make the mistake of placing the asset next to the thinnest, most petite hot girl, creating a garish visual dissonance. There should be consistency of body pose, makeup, hair, clothes, and facial expression. Also, the asset should be embedded among the props, not standing to the side of them. Looking at this again, it almost looks like a group of 4 friends have approached this ambulatory whale and are posing for selfies with her so they can pretend that they have black friends on social media and that they support body positivity, even though every single one of them would rather deep throat a road drill than have their bodies inflate to the size of this earthquake generator. Instead of the hot by association that Target were going for, they've ended up with ugly by contrast. The hot girls look even better standing next to this vaguely female-shaped mound of lard, and the asset just looks ridiculous. If I were standing anywhere near this proto-black hole, my sole concern would be to remain outside of the event horizon. Also, because of the clunky green screen, it looks like there's a tiny man coming out of this girl's ass. But hey, there are worse places to be than inside a hot girl's ass. Am I right, boys? Here's an example of the hot association technique used correctly. This is an image from Teen Vogue, also from 2015, at the start of the pro-diabetes movement. The image contains 2 assets, 2 human shields, and a prop. I don't think I need to tell you which one the prop is. Her function is to invest the image with genuine beauty. The human shields are the old woman and the mixed race girl. Their function is to make it harder to criticize the image. If you criticize this image for any reason, activists can hit back with, "How dare you suggest that older bodies and women with postnatal bellies should be shunned, you chauvinist pig!" The real assets here are the 2 chunky Karens. Notice how both the assets are presented to the camera with 1 foot in front of the other, so as to give her a classic hourglass shape. Here's the same technique used in the infamous "This is Healthy" cosmopolitan shoot. In this image, the asset holds a hands-on hip pose, both to push her hip fat in and to use her arms to accent the hourglass shape. This pose also invests the asset with an in-your-face girl boss attitude. If the asset were to stand square to the camera without body pose manipulation, she would look like, well, this. Let's look at a classic masterwork of propaganda that uses the 5 propaganda elements correctly. The "I want you" Uncle Sam poster. The values are American determination and resolve, the idea that to join up is to answer the call of the nation, that there is great strength in you, and that Uncle Sam can help you to bring that strength to bear to the detriment of the enemy. The asset is you, the onlooker. The prop is good old Uncle Sam, and the target is young American men. Simple, effective, and brilliant. The Uncle Sam poster is actually a rip-off of a British World War I poster. The Virgin ad uses all 5 elements correctly.
Anyway, guys, you guys get the idea. This video is almost 2 hours long. I'll put the link in the description. It's a pretty entertaining guy, and I skipped through the beginning of the video. I would definitely check it out. The ads in the UK are disturbing. And yeah, it's pretty sick, pretty sad.